Hello and welcome to this online class. Myself Roshan, your geography teacher, and you are here in this channel Learn Geography with Roshan. We have discussed three modes of transport, that is roadways, Indian railways and airways. So today in this video we shall discuss about waterways. Waterways is one of the most important mode of transport for carrying the bulky goods and heavy goods nearby the coastal areas. First, let us discuss about the importance of waterways. The first point is that waterways are the cheapest mode of transport. Underline this: waterways are the cheapest mode of transport, especially in India. India has a long coastline of 6,000 kilometers approximately. So remember that India has the long coastline of 6,000 kilometers approximately, and inland navigable waterways of 14,500 kilometers. Inland navigable waterways means the mainland of India, the rivers, canals and the lakes, which comprises rivers, canals, lakes and backwaters. The second point is that it is a fuel efficient and environment friendly mode of transport. So waterway is the fuel efficient, that is consumption of fuel is not wasted, that's what is known as fuel efficient, and it is eco-friendly. The pollution is less than all other modes of transport. They are most suitable for carrying heavy and bulky goods. So as I discussed and as I told you that they are the most convenient for carrying the heavy goods and the bulky goods. Despite all these favorable conditions, water transport in India currently provides only about 1% of the total transport of the country. So despite all these facilities, it is eco-friendly, it is fuel efficient and it is cheapest mode of transport, as well as it is good for carrying the heavy goods and the bulky goods. Let us discuss about the types of waterways. There are two types of waterways broadly divided. The first one is inland water transport and the second one is coastal shipping. So now let's see about the first one, that is inland waterways. The Central Water Transport Corporation, that is CWTC, was constituted in 1967. It has its headquarters at Kolkata. So remember, the Central Water Transport Corporation headquarters is in Kolkata. It is mainly engaged in the transportation of goods by inland waterways in the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Hooghly and Sundarban regions. So mainly the transportation of waterways, of inland waterways, are carried in these rivers, that is Ganga, Brahmaputra, Hooghly and Sundarban areas. Inland Waterways Authority of India, that is IWAI, came into existence on October 27, 1986 for the development and the regulation of inland waterways for shipping and navigation. Remember, Inland Waterways Authority of India, which came into existence October 27, 1986. Its head office is in Noida. The authority primarily undertakes projects for the development and maintenance of IWT. IWT means Indus Water Treaty infrastructure on national waterways. So mainly the Authority of India, the Waterways Authority of India, is heading for the development of and the regulation of inland waterways, and the headquarters is in Noida. National waterways. The two great rivers of India, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra and their tributaries, still carry the largest part of river traffic. So the two major rivers, that is Ganga and Brahmaputra, they carry the largest part of the river traffic. The Ganga is navigable for about 800 kilometers from its mouth up to Patna. So Ganga river is navigable 800 kilometers from its mouth to Patna. The Brahmaputra is navigable throughout the year. River transport carries about 50% of transport between Assam and Kolkata. large volumes of consumer goods are carried by the river transport. So, the Brahmaputra river is navigable throughout the year. The volume of the river water does not reduce, so it is navigable throughout the year, and 50% of the transport between Assam and Kolkata is carried in this river. So remember this following waterways, like we have the national roadways, so we tell national highways like NH1, NH2. So in the same way, similarly, the national waterways NW1, NW2, NW3, there are 5 national waterways. So the first one is the National Waterways 1. And remember which river it is navigable, and how many kilometers it is navigable, and from the source to the destination. The National Waterways 1 on Ganga river starts from Allahabad to Haldia with a distance of 1620 kilometers. It is the longest national waterway in India. So remember, the National Waterway 1 is operating in Ganga river, and it is from Allahabad to Haldia. Haldia is in Kolkata, and the distance is about 1620 kilometers, and it is the longest national waterway in India. The second one is the National Waterway 2, a stretch of Brahmaputra river from Sadia to Dhubri in Assam state. So the National Waterway 2 is in Brahmaputra river, and it is from Sadia to Dhubri in Assam state. It is within the Assam state. The National Waterway 2 is one of the major freight transportation waterway of Northeast India. So this National Waterway 2 is one of the major freight. Freight means the carrying the bulky and heavy goods transportation in this part of Northeast India. The National Waterway 3, that is, or the West Coast Canal, is located in Kerala. So National Waterway 3 is in Kerala and runs from Kollam to Kottapuram. So you can see the river map of India, the National Waterways map of India, and refer that the National Waterways 3 is functioning from Kollam to Kottapuram. The 205 kilometer long West Coast Canal is the first waterway with all-time navigation facilities. So this is throughout the year. 205 kilometer West Coast Canal is the first waterway which operates all-time navigation facility. The fourth one is the National Waterway 4, that is Kakinada to Pondicherry through canals, Tank and Godavari along with Krishna river. The National Waterway 4 NW4 is the second longest waterway of India with total length of 1095 kilometers in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So the coastal areas, like you can see the map, that from Godavari river to Krishna river, it functions through canals, Tank and Godavari along with Krishna river. So with the help of the facilities of canals and Tank from Godavari to Krishna river, then it follows the coastal ways. The National Waterway 5 connects Odisha to West Bengal. So National Waterway 5 is connecting the state of Odisha and West Bengal. The 623 kilometer long canal handles the traffic of cargo such as coal, fertilizers, cement and iron. So the distance between the National Waterway 5 is between Odisha and West Bengal is 623 kilometer long canal handles the traffic. Now let's see about the major ports and shipping. Ports play a crucial role in economic development and international trade of India. So the main role of this coastal shipping is that economic development and international trade. India has 7,617 kilometer long coastline with 12 major seaports and 187 minor ports. Remember this, India has the coastline of 7,617 kilometer long with 12 major seaports and 187 minor ports. The major ports are under the jurisdiction of the central government, while the minor and intermediate ports are managed and maintained by the respective state governments. So remember that the major ports, the 12 major seaports are governed or managed by the central government, and other minor ports are maintained and governed by the respective state in the states. The major ports carry about 75% of the total traffic, with Visakhapatnam handling the maximum traffic. So remember, Visakhapatnam handling the maximum traffic. The major ports of India are as follows. You can see, note down the major ports name. The first one is Kolkata, there is Haldia, it is in state of West Bengal. Paradeep is in Odisha. Visakhapatnam is in Andhra Pradesh. Chennai is in Tamil Nadu. Ennore is also in Tamil Nadu. Tuticorin is in Tamil Nadu, and Cochin is in Kerala. Mumbai is in Maharashtra, and Goa is in Goa. New Mangaluru is in Karnataka. Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust is Maharashtra, located in Navi Mumbai. It is most important port, remember it, and its objectives and the roles. Then Khandla is in Gujarat. So these are the major ports that is handled by the central government. Now let's see about the advantages of waterways. The first one is less maintenance cost. Maintenance cost of water transport is quite less as compared to rail and road transport. Only the ports are maintained, but the road is already existing. The waterways are already existing, so they don't have to maintain those things. The maintenance cost is very less when we compare with the roadways and the railways. Cheap. Second one is cheap. Water transport is much cheaper as compared to rail, road or airways. So it is cheap. Useful for bulky goods. Heavy and bulky goods can be transported easily at little cost through water transport. So heavy and bulky goods can be transported easily through waterways. Helpful in defense. Development of shipping is essential for the defense of the country. It is also called second line of defense. There is lesser pollution in water transport. That's what is known as eco-friendly or fuel efficient. You can also add the few short advantages of waterways. It is cheap, it is eco-friendly, it is to transfer heavy and bulky goods, it is fuel efficient. So in the short way also you can write in the exam. Now let us discuss about the disadvantages of water transport. First one is slow speed. It is a slow means of transport. Underline this one. It is a slow means of transport. Then again, second one is failure of monsoon results into fall in water level of rivers, making navigation difficult. So it depends upon the southwest monsoon. If the monsoon brings less rainfall, it is difficult to navigate. So it depends upon the monsoon season. More risky. Water transport is more risky as compared to other means because there is always a danger of sinking ships or boats. So it is more risky. That's why people don't prefer to travel by waterways. But it is well preferred for the carrying of bulky goods and the heavy goods. In most of the rivers in India, floods are caused during rainy season when water current is so torrential that it becomes difficult to ply woods. So what happens in the most of the rivers, floods are caused during the rainy seasons and the boat is made up of plywoods, so that is mainly damaged due to the torrential character of the rainfall. That means the unusual movements of the water. Rivers of South India flow in rocky areas, hence they are not fit for plying boats. Underline this one, why the rivers of South India are not favorable for the waterways. So it is because the rivers flow in rocky areas, hence they are not fit for plying boats, and the rivers are swift flowing. When you compare the rivers of North India and South India, the North India rivers are very slow and width, but the South India, the rivers are rocky areas and the rivers flow swiftly. Diversion of river water for irrigation purposes has also reduced the importance of inland water transport. So diversion of river water, that is from the river, the canals are being constructed and it is diverted for the irrigation purpose. So the volume of the water is reducing. Due to this reason, there is hindrance for the inland water transport. The deforestation of hill ranges leading to erosion and setting have also been responsible for the decline of in water transport. So deforestation of hill regions bring erosions. They carry the debris, they carry the residue and the sediments they deposit. The depth of the river becomes less. So this is one of the major problem or disadvantages of waterways. However, the northeast states of India, inland waterways are most important, especially during the monsoon, when parts of this region are isolated from the rest of the country. So, in the northeast states of India, the inland waterways are more important. You can also write few of the disadvantages of waterways. The short ones, it is very slow and it is time consuming. It depends upon the weather, can cause sea sickness. So these were the few disadvantages of waterways, of inland waterways. Now let's see about the coastal shipping. India has the largest merchant shipping fleet among the developing countries and ranks 19th amongst the countries. So India has the largest merchant shipping fleet. That means the group of ship that operate, that is called shipping fleet. Coastal shipping is one of the most important aspects of Indian transport network. It is most economical, in fuel saving and environment friendly. It involves the movement of goods and passengers from one port to another port within the country. So coastal shipping is one of the most important aspects of Indian transport network, as it is fuel saving and eco-friendly. Coastal shipping holds a great promise as it is the most energy efficient. Underline the word energy efficient. It is also one of the advantages of the waterways and the cheapest modes of transport for carriage of bulky goods like iron and steel, iron ore, coal, timber, etc. over long distances. So mainly the coastal shippings are used for carrying the bulky goods and the bulky raw materials like iron ore, iron, coal, timber and all other goods for the long distance. So these are many advantages and disadvantages. Now let's discuss the important point is that despite all facilities, the importance of inland waterways has declined. So what happens despite all these facilities, as you know, it carries the huge amount of bulky goods, but the inland waterways are declining. What is the reason behind this? The first point is that it is because road and rail transports have developed considerably. So the people prefer to travel by road and the railway. That's why it is not given that much of importance. River water has been diverted for the purpose of irrigation. When the river water is diverted for the purpose of irrigation, the volume of the river is reduced and the depth is reduced. So it is seasonal. The river, only seasonal rivers can operate the waterways. Deforestation of hill slopes has led to erosion and silting of rivers. So deforestation of hill slopes, the debris, the stones, the small conchs and the sediments bring and deposit in the river That makes silting of rivers. That means the depth is reduced. The transport is not as fast as airways or railways. The transport is not as fast as airways. So it is slow means of transport. The seasonal variation in the volume of water affects the navigability of rivers, particularly in South India. So the seasonal variations, sometimes the monsoon will be bringing heavy rainfall, so it is able to navigate. Only it is operated during the time when the water is present in the river, but during the summer season it is not operating. It is affecting the navigability of rivers during the summer season. Problems of inland waterways. What are the problems of inland waterways? The first one is the rivers of the peninsula India are not navigable as they have very little water in the hot season. So the South Indian rivers, the peninsular India, are not navigable during the summer season as the water reduces. So they are seasonal. They are dependent on monsoon for their water supply. So when the water is there in the river or during the monsoon season, they are functioning, or they are dependent on monsoon season. Krishna and Godavari river is the largest river. Godavari river is known as the river of South Ganga. So remember this. And these two rivers only provide water transport and cheap access to the markets. The Buckingham Canal in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Tamil Nadu is used for navigation. The Mandobi and Zuari rivers in Goa are also used for waterways. Remember this canal and the river channels in South India, which are very important. One of the western coast in Kerala, the backwaters serve as means of navigation. Backwaters. So the backwaters serve the means of navigations. You can see it is promoting more tourism because of the backwater. Houseboats are available there. The people go and stay in the houseboat several days. It is very calm and quiet, and the tourism is more common there because of this backwater. These waters are used by local boats for transporting goods like spices, coconuts, raw rubber, paper, and cashew nuts and other products. So backwaters are basically used for the transportation of the spices, coconuts, raw rubber, pepper, and cashew nuts and all other products. Now let's see about the advantages of coastal shipping. It is environment friendly, or it is also known as eco-friendly. It saves fuel as compared to railways and airways. Hence, it is the cheapest mode of transport. That means it is fuel efficient and cheapest mode of transport. Most coastal industries such as fisheries is dependent on coastal shipping. Fisheries is mostly dependent on coastal shipping. Coastal shipping reduces the burden on rail and road transport system. So remember, coastal shipping has reduced the burden on rail and road transport systems. It helps in providing employment to thousands of people. So it helps in providing employment to thousands of people. It promotes tourism. Mainly in backwater of Kerala, it promotes tourism. Its capital investment is much less as compared to other modes of transport. So capital investment is much less as compared to all other means of transport. The roads, like when the road in the road transport or in the rail transport, the roads are constructed that only vehicles can be run. But in case of the waterways, the water is already present, right? So only the investment is done only for the construction of the ports. Problems of Indian ports. What are the major problems of Indian ports? Indian ports are not well connected with their hinterland. That means the Indian ports are not connected with the hinterlands. Hinterland means the mainland, the river channels. It is not connected. That is one of the major problem. Then Indian ports are not well planned, lack facilities, and they are very congested. They are not well planned. They lack facilities, uncleanliness, and untidy. There is heavy pressure on cargo containers. So there is heavy pressure on cargo containers. The coastal fleet is aging fast. Nearly 52% of the tonnage is already due for the. There is imbalance in coastal traffic movement as traffic is not equally available in both directions. So there is imbalance of the traffic movement. If the boat is going from one direction to the other end directions, we do not know the weather because it depends upon the weather. So if something is unusual in the other end of the directions, the ship needs to return back. Hence this makes it necessary for the ship to take the return journey. Slow handling of the cargo at port and undue port delays inflict heavy losses on shipping companies. So the slow delivery of the cargo or slow handling of the cargoes, the employees are not that much active enough, they are not dedicated. So due to these, there is a delay of the heavy losses for shipping companies. All right. So these were the few points of the waterways. Hopefully you understood this waterways, and I request you to learn all the advantages and disadvantages of the four means of transport, four modes of transport. So basically in the board exams, the comparison between the advantages and disadvantages of different means of transports are being asked. Any queries, any doubts, please ask in the WhatsApp. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. All the best.